Good morning, dear students. In the previous class, chapter acids, bases, and salts, we have discussed about the importance of pH in our daily life. The pH scale, which was introduced by the scientist Sorensen, explained the different values or strength of the acids and bases from 0 to 14, pH 0 to 14, and how it is useful in our daily lives, how it is affecting to the environment is known. And in today's class, we will discuss about the family of different salts and the nature of the salts obtained. So first we are going to discuss the family of salts. The family of salts. Family of salts. Now in this chapter, acids, bases and salts, we have studied how the salt formation is going to take place. So salt formation takes place when acid reacts with base, it gives salt and water. Salt and water. Now, whatever the salt is obtained here, that belongs to which family? What is the nature of the salt obtained? What is the nature of the salt obtained? So that is going to be our topics. So at the end of this class, you will be able to describe or define or differentiate the nature of the salts that we have in our daily life, in our daily lives. Now, first let us look at the family of salts. What is the family of salts? Say for example, I write MgCl2 salt. The salt is obtained here, MgCl2. Okay. Now, how this salt is obtained? What are the acids and bases present here to give this salt? And water. Now, identify the acid and base. Identify the acid and base. Identify the acid and base. What acid and base reacts so that the obtained salt will be MgCl2, magnesium chloride. I hope you have understood. What is the acid and what is the base? What is the base to give the salt MgCl2 and water? So what is the acid? Look at here, acid. How do I identify the acid? Now here you have chlorine. Look at the chlorine. That means in which acid you will find chlorine? In which acid you will find chlorine? Hydrochloric acid. HCl. Hydrochloric acid. Okay. Now next base. Here you have Mg. Mg. That means what? Magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide. MgOH taken twice. Whatever it may be, right? When you have a metal, for example, in place of magnesium, if you have sodium, that means sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. Now, if you go for balancing the reaction, okay. Now this is how you need to find out the acid and base when a salt is provided to you. Let us go for the second example. Now identify the acid and base. Identify the acid and base. What I told in case of MgCl2, in which acid you will see chlorine. Now, in which acid you will see SO4? In which acid you will see SO4? Right? I hope you are trying. Yes, very good. Now, SO4 will be present in sulfuric acid. That is H2SO4. Now, Mg is present in already is there. So, MgOH taken twice. MgOH taken twice. So, the salt is obtained here. So, the salt is obtained here. Now, if you look at both the salts, what is the common thing you find here? What is the common thing that you find in the salts? In the first and second one. What is the common thing you find? Very good. That is magnesium. That means magnesium sulfate, magnesium chloride belongs to which family? Magnesium family. Belongs to which family? Magnesium family. Right? Yes, dear students. So, like here, the common thing is magnesium, so they belong to magnesium family. Let us go for the another example. Yes, the given salt is Na2CO3. Na2CO3, sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate. Now, what are the respective acids and bases which gives sodium carbonate? Okay, next, fourth example. Yes. Now, here I have provided two examples, right? Two examples, that is sodium carbonate and sodium chloride. Sodium carbonate and sodium chloride. Sodium carbonate and sodium chloride. Now, I want the answers. What are the acids and bases? What are the acids and bases for the sodium carbonate and sodium chloride? This fourth example we have solved many times. Okay, now look at it. Cl. It will be present in which acid? Hydrochloric acid. Cl. Hydrochloric acid. Now Na. Na is present in which base? Sodium. So sodium is what? Simply we can write sodium hydroxide. NaOH. NaOH. Okay. So this is sodium chloride obtained from the hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Now look at the sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate. Now again same sodium, so base is NaOH. Now CO3. In which acid you will see CO3? In which acid you will see CO3? You will find CO3. I'll give you the hint that acid is present in the cool rings. That acid is present in the cool rings. What is that acid? Find out that acid that is present in the cool rings. What is that acid present in the cool rings? That is H2CO3. 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 Now it is not balanced, so we go for balancing. I write 2 here. So total oxygens, total nitrogens are how many? Now 2 and 2, 4. So I'm gonna write 2 here, 4. And oxygens are how many? 3 and 2, 5. 3 and 2, 5. Now, what is the common thing you see here? What is the common thing in these two salts? Sodium. Sodium carbonate, sodium chloride. So they belong to sodium family. They belong to sodium family. Okay. So this is how the family of the salts are identified. Family of the salts are identified. And here we can also find out one more thing, that is the nature of the salt. nature of the salt. Now, what is this nature of the salt? Nature of the salt means nature of the salt. That means either it is acidic salt, neutral salt, or basic salt. Either it is acidic salt, neutral salt, or the basic salt. The neutral salt that we take in our daily life is an example. That is an example, NaCl. Right? NaCl is the example. Sodium chloride is the example for the neutral salt. So see here, how to find out the neutral salt? How to know that is a neutral salt? How to know that is an acidic salt or a basic salt? When strong acid and strong base reacts, when strong acid reacts with strong base, when strong acid reacts with strong base, that gives you neutral salt. That gives us what? Neutral salt. When weak acid reacts with strong base, that gives us basic salt. When strong acid reacts with weak base, that gives us acidic salt. Acidic salt. So when do you get neutral salt? When there is a strong acid and strong base, you get the neutral salt. You get the neutral salt. Now sodium chloride is an example for the neutral salt. Sodium chloride is an example for the neutral salt. It is formed by the combination of strong acid and strong base. So sodium chloride is an example of what? Neutral salt. Neutral salt. Now come to the third example. Carbonic acid is a weak acid. It is a weak acid. NaOH is a strong base. Now the combination of when the reaction is taking place between weak acid and strong base. Weak acid, strong base. Weak acid and strong base. You get what? Basic salt. Now Na2CO3 is an example for what? Basic salt. Na2CO3 is an example for what? Basic salt. Now look at here. Look at this one. H2SO4. H2SO4 and NgOH twice. Magnesium hydroxide, which is not a strong base. Which is not a strong base. Magnesium hydroxide. In the previous class, we have studied the application of magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide is present in the antacid, which is called as what? Milk of magnesia. Magnesium hydroxide is called as what? Milk of magnesia, which is present in the antacids, eno. Okay, now it is a weak base. It's not a strong base, it's a weak base. Now, when it is reacting with H2SO4, which is a strong acid. Strong acid. Now, what is your answer? Strong acid reacting with the weak base to give what? Acidic salt. So this MgSO4 is an example for the acidic salt. Acidic salt. Is that clear to everybody? So in this reactions, we have studied two things. One is the family of the salt. Family of the salt. Okay. Now, if you look at to these examples, MgCl2 and NaCl. What is the common thing you find in this? In magnesium chloride and sodium chloride, what is the common thing you observe? What is the common thing you observe in magnesium chloride and sodium chloride? Yes, very good. Chlorine. That means they belong to chloride family. Right? Magnesium chloride and sodium chloride belongs to chloride family. Okay. Next. Yes, dear students. Now we have to find out the respective acids and bases, which gives what? Yes, dear students. Now you need to find out the respective acids and bases for the given salts. For the given salts. Find out the acid and base. Find out the acid and base. Here you have K2SO4. K2SO4. So SO4 you will find it where sulfuric acid. That is H2SO4. Now potassium, write potassium hydroxide. K. Now what about SO4 here again? H2SO4. Now CaCaOH. CaCl2. Now chlorine is present in HCl, hydrochloric acid, and again CaCaOH. Now KNO3, K potassium, that means potassium hydroxide, KOH. NO3 is present in nitric acid, that is HNO3. So this is how we need to find out the acids and bases when the salt is provided to you, and the nature of the salt can be identified when you look at the strength of the acids and bases. If the strength of the acid and bases are strong, if strong acid, strong base react, then gives you the neutral salt. Sulfuric acid is strong acid, potassium hydroxide is a strong base. So the obtained salt is what? It is neutral salt. The next, sulfuric acid is a strong acid and CaOH twice is a weak base. So the obtained salt is the acidic salt. The next, HCl is the strong acid and CaOH twice is the weak base. So the obtained salt is the acidic salt. The next, HNO3 is the strong acid, KOH is the strong base. So the obtained one is the neutral salt. Now, if you look at the salts, which salts belongs to sulfate family? Which salts belongs to sulfate family? Sulfate means SO4. Sulfate means what? SO4. Now look at SO4, SO4. So which salts belongs to sulfate family? Potassium sulfate and calcium sulfate. Potassium sulfate and calcium sulfate belongs to sulfate family. Which of the following salts belongs to calcium family? Which of the following salts belongs to calcium family? Calcium family. They are, see here, calcium and calcium. So calcium sulfate and calcium chloride belongs to calcium family. I hope you are able to understand. See, calcium and calcium. Calcium family, calcium family. Now, which of the following salts belongs to potassium family? Potassium family. Here you have potassium sulfate, potassium nitrate. So these two belongs to potassium family. Potassium family. So this is how you need to identify the strength of the salt or the nature of the salt and the family of the salt. Okay, so this is all about the topic family of the salts and nature of the salts. Remember, family of the salts are identified looking at the common thing in the given two salts. For example, in these two salts, the common thing is sulfate, and in these two salts, the common thing is calcium. And in the first and the fourth salt, the common thing is potassium. So this is how you need to separate the families of the salt. And the next important thing we studied is nature of the salt, whether it is neutral salt, basic salt, or acidic salt. So how the neutral salt is obtained? When it reacts, when the strong acid reacts with strong base. How the basic salt is obtained? When the strong base reacts with the weak acid. How the acidic salt is obtained? When strong acid reacts with the weak base. This is how we get the nature of the salts. Okay, so this is all about for today's class, and in the tomorrow's class we are going to discuss about the topic salts and the products. Okay, salts and the common products from the salt. Okay, so if you have any other questions, please do put it in the chat box. Thank you.